New Earth Healing and Healthcare unravels every fucking layer. And I mean every layer. Wholeness. This is oneness healing. Okay? Oneness healing. We see every aspect of you, and we start a program and a protocol, and we put the support system in place that you can heal and become whole. You can't heal one piece of you, and that's healing. That doesn't exist. Just getting rid of parasites, for example, all of the damage, the heavy metals, the poisons, the glyphosate, the poisoning of your food, et cetera, that alone, what that has done to your physical vessel, your mental, emotional state, your level of consciousness stays fucking low. You can't go higher when you're filled with poison. Do you understand? You can only go so high. It isn't one thing that takes you to a high level of wholeness, of oneness, being fully healed. Not one thing does it. You were attacked from 1,000 different ways. You have to understand that, which means New Earth Healing and Healthcare takes all of those ways, and we alchemize and transform them, and we tackle them in the highest way, in the best way possible for you as an individual. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast, your highest source of sacred truths and universal wisdom. Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Rachel Fiori, mystic, spiritual teacher, psychic healer, and founder of Masters of Self University. Join our journey of soul transformation as we deep dive into this latest episode. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Masters of Self University podcast. I'm Rachel Fiori, CEO and founder of Masters of Self University and of this podcast, of course. Let's dive in. New Earth Healing and Healthcare. Let's talk about what healing and healthcare will look like in the future as we continue to dismantle the old earth, patriarchal inversion, satanic cult-led world of inversion, and write everything up, right? Like let's put everything created energetically and in our physical reality of what a new earth is meant to be. I mean, we say things like new earth, new earth, new earth. What does it actually look like? What does it feel like? And here's the truth of that as the way of truth. Number one, you're not really going to know. Intellectual knowing isn't knowing anything. You're not wise because you can regurgitate shit or talk about things. So intellectual knowing doesn't mean much. We have to become it ourselves first. We become the vibrational frequencies. That's what the universal ways of oneness are for, the 20 universal ways of oneness. As we evolve into these frequencies and become them ourselves, our physical bodies transform. Our DNA activates, transform. Old DNA dims out, is turned off. New DNA comes online. We are literally evolving into higher frequency, higher conscious beings of oneness consciousness, leaving, unplugging from that old matrix of inversion and hell and sick care systems and all of the things. And we are evolving into and becoming what New Earth actually is and stands for. And part one aspect of what a New Earth is, let's talk about the healthcare treatment, how we will be healed when we're sick or we have issues or problems and things. You're not going to not have issues and problems as a human being just because you live on New Earth, right? Or you've evolved enough to create New Earth and experience and live on and as New Earth. It doesn't mean you don't have issues and problems or challenges anymore. That's ridiculous. That doesn't exist. But we will not see sickness in the same way at all. So what will it mean? New Earth healing, what will that look like? Healthcare. So you see aspects of it now evolving, and that we're transitioning into it. So there's always a transitionary period. So it's like the dragonfly living under the water for a couple years before the metamorphosis occurs. and it has wings. It completely, through its metamorphosis process, that transformational, deep transformational, including physical transformational process, spreads wings and becomes a land animal, a flying, beautiful creature. Same thing, butterfly. We're always used to using that as an analogy. Caterpillar to butterfly. But let's really let that sink in just a little bit more deeply today. I invite you to allow yourself to really move through energetically that transformation, that complete metamorphosis, and what it means to move through a metamorphosis. That is spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. And that is what we are moving through now in this great period of awakening, global awakening. And all of patriarchy is crumbling, crashing down, being dismantled, all of the systems that uphold it. But that's because you are crumbling and dismantling and crashing down all of your distortions, all of your traumas and wounds and programming from that old cult-led world, that old world of inversion, which is what patriarchy is. You're the one who's dismantling it within yourselves, which then, as a byproduct, dismantles it in the macro, in the world around us. It cannot be upheld unless we uphold it. Do you understand? You are consenting to energetically, you are keeping it in place by not doing the real energetic work, by not moving through the metamorphosis that you need to evolve through, which is not a comfortable process. A caterpillar transforming into a butterfly, it's not a comfortable process. It is messy, it is gross. It's kind of disgusting process. And yet, what a beautiful example. Dragonfly, same thing. To completely move through metamorphosis, it is an evolutionary process. That's what this great awakening is. It is an evolutionary process. So you are transforming at every level. That includes the physical. You need to really understand that and understand what your part, your responsibility is. The first way of oneness, the way of responsibility. This isn't a passive, entitled fucking process that you just because you are alive and existent, because you're spiritual, you suddenly are a part of New Earth kind of thing. That's not how this works. You can't be passive little child where people just, oh, I'll just take you with, you get a free pass. That's not how this works. It lacks the way of responsibility. All right. There needs to be a certain divine, mystical, spiritual work ethic here instead of lazy, entitled, narcissistic fucks that patriarchy has brainwashed so many people to be. And what does that have to do with healing and healthcare? Everything. Absolutely everything. Because first of all, the universe, the cosmos itself is magic. It's magical. Okay. And in magic, in the universe, there is always balance. The universe always balances herself. So if you don't even understand balance, which is an aspect, by the way of equality, the way of equality, one of the universal ways of oneness, there are 12 levels to every single universal way of oneness, 12 levels to achieve and become, 12 levels of all 20 of them. Okay. So the way of equality being number 9 out of 20, higher levels of the way of equality means equilibrium. It means balance. You are grounded, centered, and balanced in every way to become a being of wholeness, which is a being of oneness. Okay. So if you are in balance energetically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if you are integrated, your soul is integrating into your humanness because you are both. You are a soul who has a human body, a soul experiencing a physical incarnation, humanness through you, the person, the human you. You are both. And when you integrate that fully, your soul integrates completely into your humanness. You dissolve, alchemize your ego, your shadow self, all your wounds, your traumas, completely 100% get rid of them. That is a being of oneness where you're elevating into a being of oneness consciousness. That's becoming whole. What that means on a physical level, and this is where healing and healthcare comes into play on a new earth, no more fragmented off structures, treatments, no more fragmentation, because that's all severance consciousness of what old earth patriarchy is, that world of inversion. It's everything is fractured. Okay. You are fractured. Your inner child wounds, for example, those are fractured off pieces of you. To integrate them, elevate them, have those pieces of you become fully enlightened and integrated so that you are no longer a wounded child. Okay, just to give one example, that is an aspect of becoming whole, healing into wholeness, becoming a being of oneness consciousness. Some of your physical ailments, as I'm sure many of you or all of you who are listening to this podcast know and understand, maybe at varying levels, but you know and understand some of your physical ailments are caused and created on an energetic level because of your emotional traumas that are unhealed, because of your programming that are less than divine, that are still flowing through you as streams of consciousness, as negative streams of consciousness. Okay. These are all things that you learn and completely heal and master in our coursework at Masters of Self University, by the way. We teach all this stuff in our different classes at different levels, more advanced levels at MSU. So energetically, when you have emotional trauma trapped, it's going to cause physical problems, diseases. It's going to cause, your spine to come out of alignment. It's going to cause your fascia to contract and hold what it believes is safety patterns. And that's going to then pull your spine out. And that's going to make some of your muscles really super tight and contracted and shortened, and other ones elongated and too loose. Like there's a domino effect here. Also, everybody's poisoned all over the world, varying levels, our air, food, water, et cetera, et cetera. So toxins, heavy metal buildup, parasitic buildup, right? So you have parasites and you're not cleaning and cleansing that out and detoxing that on a regular basis. Heavy metals, we are fed heavy metals in every way possible. All right. Microplastics in our clothes that are absorbing into your skin. We are being toxified and made toxic on every level, at our low levels of consciousness and our insane belief systems, okay, in our severance consciousness, in our physical well-being. You can't awaken to the highest levels if you're consuming food all day, every day, and eating dead flesh and food filled with poisons. There's no such thing as you being an enlightened being, and that's part of how you live your life. That's never a judgment. It is the old, disgusting, patriarchal world of inversion doing what it does best, to imprison you and enslave you and brainwash you. That's what it is. That's the old earth. You have to understand that. When you can understand that and start to become the way of humility, you realize, holy shit, I've been dumbed down, stupid, fucked up. I am completely programmed in negativity and powerlessness and narcissism and entitlement and, helplessness, and all the way, like all of the ways that old earth, the world of inversion, has taught you to be, a narcissistic, fucking violent, aggressive monster, or a completely subservient slave, helpless, powerless. Don't use your voice too loud. Don't show any emotion. Keeping everybody so fucking emotionally fragile, they can't even handle the goddamn truth. They get offended and triggered left and right. So part of New Earth healthcare, healing, will no longer be fractured off. Okay. Those of you who have been doing the hard work and you're doing everything you can to heal yourselves and elevate and heal your traumas and heal programs of, lack and fear and all the things. Understand that what we are creating for New Earth, and I'll say it one more time, and then I'm going to explain a little bit what this looks like, is no more fractured off pieces. So in the old Earth of severance, you have your, primary care physician, and then you have your specialists, and you always have to make 19 appointments and go to 19 different places. And, this physician, that practitioner, that nonstop. None of it's coordinated in wholeness. None of it's coordinated in oneness, right? So here's how things will change. For people who have been waking up and they're like, oh my gosh, so actually a lot of the problems I have, I should be going to a chiropractor. I should be getting my fascia work done. So I'm going to go do that. And of course, hardly any of that is ever covered, if any of it. Some of it is covered a little bit by, the old sick care health insurance bullshit fraud program. But you decide you're going to go do a little bit more of a holistic approach because you realize that's what you actually need. And that's a positive, beautiful, wonderful thing. Let's do that. Great. The problem is you'll go to this magnificent, beautiful chiropractor. And I'm using this example because I've released the podcast on fascia and how I was doing a healing, working energetically on a client's fascia while the chiropractor, Dr. Hannah here in Southern California, San Diego, California, then does her adjustment. And I'm working energetically on the fascia. Again, not manually even on the fascia. That will be incorporated too. But in this example, I didn't even have to do that. Energetically working on fascia and then having the chiropractor adjust and then reading what the fascia needs at this energetic psychic level, offering what that fascia really needs and doing the emotional trauma healing simultaneously. Okay. So you saw that in that podcast about the fascia. And then somebody puts hands on that client when the body is ready to receive, when the childhood wounds and traumas are being alchemized simultaneously. And then the fascia doesn't feel like it has to protect the body by keeping in this crooked, safety pattern, which causes a lot of problems chronically and causes a lot of pain physically in our bodies. So if you haven't watched that episode, I would really encourage you to pause this, go back, watch that, and then come back to this episode. Okay. So I'm referring to that just because I already put out a podcast episode about that. And so it's an easy reference, an easy example for me to give. So healthcare healing will be moving somebody through an intake assessment. What's going on with you? So of course, understanding from your perspective. Tell me about your pain. What's going on physically? So of course we need to know physically what's happening with you. Share that with us. And then let's do a part of that intake is emotionally, energetically, spiritually. Where are we at? What are you struggling with? What are the hardships in your life? Where do you feel stuck? Because those patterns where you're energetically stuck, where you're stuck in life, maybe at a job that you hate, but this still pays my bills kind of thing. In unhealthy relationships, but you also have this chronic physical body pain. They're all connected. As the way of connection, they are all connected. You're being fed toxins, being filled with heavy metals and toxins. Maybe you need a protocol of detoxing, a protocol with fasting, changing your diet to raw living foods and things like that. Tinctures, so herbs from the earth. We have everything we need to help our bodies heal. And you hear it all the time. Our bodies are made to just heal themselves. Our bodies can do that, except there's an except. So people say that, and I almost feel like it's so deflating sometimes to hear people putting out over the years, like, your body can heal itself. And it's like, well, then why is mine not? We have to be very careful when we say that. So our bodies are absolutely incredible. They are magic. They are magical, but not when we're constantly abusing them, not when we are constantly filling them with toxins. We are getting in the way of the body doing what the body can do. So part of healing and healthcare on a new earth is we do an intake as a group. Okay, 2 or more practitioners, a naturopath, a chiropractor, somebody like myself, somebody who has the psychic ability to do all of the things. Like, I can see every program you're running and where you're stuck, and I can see in your energy fields where that's tied into your physical body, etc. So there will be, energetic practitioners who can read and see your wounds, your trauma, your programming, and how that's connected to your physical body. Okay. All different types of practitioners. It doesn't necessarily mean you'll be in a room of 10 people. And yet, if that's what you truly need, that is part of the intake, whether that's 2 practitioners or 3 practitioners doing an intake with you. Sometimes it might look like because it has to be efficient as well. So sometimes that might look like you doing an initial intake with 1 or 2, and then doing a second part of that intake with another 1 or 2 practitioners, physicians, experts, professionals, etc. Do you understand? And then that team of people puts together a protocol and a plan for you. But they work together. So you may need heavy front-loaded energetic work, trauma work, and a little bit of fascia work and a little bit of chiropractor. You might need front-loaded heavy metal detoxing, and then slowly shifting you to be in a place where you can do some fasting. So your 1-year plan, your 1-year protocol will be a handful of practitioners minimum, all working together. What are the herbs that are going to best support and rebalance your hormones once you stop consuming the hormone disruptors that you're consuming, right? So in the old fucked up sick care system of patriarchal world of inversion, that hellhole that we were born into, take these prescription medicines. Here, mask your symptoms, and then you'll get more symptoms because the side effects of all the pharmaceuticals that we're putting you on. Y'all know how the sick care system works for the most part, I hope. None of that is healing. And then go to 19 different appointments that take you 6 months to get in, and, you know, things like that. So none of it is healing. Like, there's no such thing as healing in the sick care system of patriarchal world. There's no such thing. It's keeping you sick, because as a sick person, we can dumb you down. We can block you from awakening and healing. We can block you from igniting your internal divine powers and the magic that you are. If you don't have your magical powers of divinity online, then we can keep you a sick slave, and we make money off of you for the rest. So we become more higher level billionaires, and your suffering and your struggle actually makes us more money. You being sick long term makes us more money. So y'all should know that by now. That doesn't exist in New Earth healing and healthcare. Okay. So you will go to your intake with a group of practitioners of all kinds, and your program, your protocol will change as you heal, evolve, and change. So you might go through, you know, this next year, for example, of here's the recommendations of, okay, we need to detox first of all, because here's the deal. All right, you want to heal stuff in your life, but you're so filled with toxins that your addiction to food needs to be dealt with first. So if you're filled with parasites, you're not battling that food addiction like just by, oh, let me change my diet a little bit. The toxins and the parasites in your body overtake you so that you can't be yourself. You're disconnected from your divinity on so many levels. You even understanding what that means comes with the teachings that you get in your healthcare plan. Do you understand? So you will move through the educational process of what's going on in your body. So you'll have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. It doesn't mean, for example, if you have a really crooked spine and you're all twisted up and you're in a lot of chronic pain, it doesn't mean you don't also do that simultaneously and address that simultaneously. But the truth is, if we can't get rid of the toxins in your body and we can't balance your body, hormonal balance, and no, it's not taking fucking drugs that some fucked up sick care system of patriarchy gives you. That doesn't heal any. Why are your hormones out of balance? Because you are consuming hormone disruptors through your clothes, through your food, through the air, through your water that you consume. Like, that's what's being done to us. You understand this? Okay. So you will be put on a plan for the next 1, 2, 3, however long you need to become a being of oneness where you're completely healed and whole. All right. And that means fascia release work, but also the energetic work that prepares your fascia, that changes the consciousness of the fascia itself to actually receive. That's the way of presence in the universal ways of oneness. There are energetic frequencies to infuse and work with. You have your own homework to do. This isn't a let me show up and you give me some pills and I'm fucking fixed. First of all, you're never fucking fixed in the old sick care system. Hello? Okay. You have to become the way of responsibility and do the work, do your homework. And it's not even homework, it's change your lifestyle. You have to show up in the world in a very different way, but you have all the help and the support and the guidance as much as you need in order to achieve that, especially in the beginning, on the front loading it, right? So what happens is in New Earth Healing and Healthcare, everything that's contributing to you not being completely healed and whole and at your highest level of existence. So we take that, we come up with a plan for you, and then we start rolling out that plan and giving you the support you need in order to achieve all of these steps, right? So again, I'm just giving a simple example because this will be 100% unique to you as an individual. It's customized, personalized to you, and it changes. The plan changes as you change, as you heal, as you evolve. Okay, so again, I'm just giving a very simple example, but the first steps might be with all this chronic tightness and, your C-spine and your T-spine, maybe you have scoliosis, maybe you have whatever. So on the front end, it's okay, look, hormones are out of whack. You have all these symptoms. You're breaking out in rashes. You have these allergies. You have these sensitivities to food, blah, blah, blah. What we want to do, we need to start with detoxing the body. So we need to get the parasites out. We need to get the heavy metals out. And that isn't something you do one time and then they're gone permanently. You are reinfected. You are, unfortunately, still now, when it comes to heavy metals, they are coming at you in every way, shape, or form, even ways that you don't even know about. Because that's the old patriarchal world of poisoning you to make you sick and dumb you down and da-da-da. So it's an ongoing thing. But what do we need to do first? And to what extent do we need to do it first for you? We start that process. We've got to get the toxins out of your body. Why? That's what then helps you to heal and completely alchemize and get rid of completely all of your food addictions. Okay, parasites that creates food, sugar cravings, food cravings. I need to eat. That's part of brainwashing. You don't need to eat that much fucking food. Eating all day, every day bogs your entire system down, including emotionally, mentally. It overruns your entire physical vessel. Your body can't heal itself on its own. You're putting too much shit in it. Our bodies are never meant to eat that much food. Again, one of the 1,000 ways that they layer, that old patriarchal fucked up world layered thousands of ways to keep you dumbed down, stupid, sick, and unable to heal and unable to awaken and raise your level of consciousness. You have to understand, it comes in 1,000 layers. From every direction, they're attacking you. All right? So New Earth Healing and Healthcare unravels every fucking layer. And I mean every layer. Wholeness. This is oneness healing. Okay? Oneness healing. We see every aspect of you and we start a program and a protocol and we put the support system in place that you can heal and become whole. You can't heal one piece of you and that's healing. That doesn't exist. Just getting rid of parasites, for example, all of the damage, the heavy metals, the poisons, the glyphosate, the poisoning of your food, et cetera, that alone, what that has done to your physical vessel, your mental, emotional state, your level of consciousness stays fucking low. You can't go higher when you're filled with poison. Do you understand? You can only go so high. It isn't one thing that takes you to a high level of wholeness, of oneness, being fully healed. Not one thing does it. You were attacked from 1,000 different ways. You have to understand that, which means New Earth Healing and Healthcare takes all of those ways and we alchemize and transform them and we tackle them in the highest way, in the best way possible for you as an individual. All right. Again, I'm going to stay with this example. Let's say in your first phase is, okay, let's start doing the energy work. Let's start doing the trauma work. We're going to start, because that takes a long time. Like, let's get real. You're not healed from all your damn traumas in a month or 2 or 3. Like the way of patience. Like we have to be the way of responsibility. We have to fucking mature already. That isn't something that you go to just one retreat and you're completely fucking healed from all your traumas. That doesn't work that way. Now, understanding and receiving the education of how and why energetically it doesn't work that way, that's what we offer you at Masters of Self University. This is part of the future of healthcare. Because if you're not educated and you don't understand, then you're literally making yourself sick again. You don't even know how or why. So education is always going to be a part of the new earth healthcare system. Healing. You're not healed if you don't even know how the fuck you are where you are. If you don't understand how your body's working and what's going on in your body, guess what? If you get quote unquote healed, you will recontaminate. You will energetically bring in the programs and the patterns that made you sick to begin with. You will redo it. You will consent to it, recreate that reality because you're not educated enough to know how you do not recreate that reality. We are lacking true education, again, done by design, of course, in order for you, if you do start healing, you'll just make yourself sick all over again. And I mean in every way, physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. Okay. Again, remember, they hit you in 1,000 different ways from 1,000 different levels. They thought of everything. So we need to make sure when if we're healing for real, we have to heal in every way, not one little tiny thing. It's going to miraculously do it. It might make a big difference. Every part, every piece counts. But that fractured off, fragmented way of healing isn't healing. So if we're going to start the detox. We're going to first get the heavy metals out and the parasites out. Okay. We're going to start you on a physical treatment plan. And that might include chiropractor. We're going to start you with some trauma, energetic frequency work. Your plan, your protocol will be put in place. And then you will carry through all of the recommended steps over time. So like your first year in doing all of this, you'll move from, detox, and now let's slowly get you onto a fasting protocol. For example, and that, again, 100% personalized. For you, it might mean, okay, now we're going to do once a week, every week. Here's your, food that you should be consuming. And here's your once a week, every week, 24-hour fast. Okay, we're going to start very easy and very slow. Okay, for other people, it might be more beneficial. You can do a raw juice fast. You can do a water fast, 3 days, or you may need assistance and extra support when it comes to something like that. You may really, truly benefit from a longer fast, like a 7-day or a 10-day, or even if it's a 3-day. You might need to go to retreat, though, and have all these other, a little bit more intensive process to help you through that. Doing it on your own is like, I can't do that. I mean, I'll fail the first time. You just might not be powerful enough yet to do it on your own. There is nothing wrong with that. That isn't powerlessness. That part's not powerlessness. The powerlessness is the not moving forward and not doing it at all. Okay. When it comes to certain phases of our healing process, for example, whether that's healing trauma, energetic work, physical, fasting, detoxing. Sometimes we need a lot of extra support for a while, and then we gain our power, connect to our power, heal more, elevate more. And look at this. I can do this part on my own now. That's growth. That's progress. That's healing, right? So you have less and less support as you need less and less support. Okay. Certain aspects of your healing you might be able to do completely on your own with just a little check-in here and there. Others might be, okay, so you need a lot of extra support for this. So what we want to do is put you in a full retreat. And again, customized, like 3-day, 7-day, 10-day. But here's a retreat. Here's where we're going to get everything jump started for you. You're going to have all the support in the world. It's going to be an intensive. And when we start with that intensive, which might be necessary for you as an individual, and then after that, okay, what is your plan and protocol after that, say 7 days, just as an example. Okay, it's customized. And as you heal and elevate and make progress and jump levels in your elevation in every way, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, then we change the plan according to what it is that you benefit from, right? So you might go from 2 days a week at the chiropractor, but 3 days a week of energy fascia work. Okay, that physical fascia, but also the energetic frequency work in your fascia. And you might need that for a solid month. Okay, and then we go down to just once a week, once a week. Again, all of it would be personalized and customized. I'm just giving you examples so that you can, like, real examples that you can kind of, sort of, or a little more tangible to visualize and understand. This is part of New Earth healing. Every aspect of you is looked at. Every aspect of you is looked at. Okay, not fractured off one piece of you, So it's unbelievable that somebody is having, an issue. Neck issues, neck pain. Okay, they're losing the curve in their C-spine. And yet the main reason for that, main reason for that is your voice is suppressed. Your throat chakra is completely clogged. You don't speak up in powerful ways. You've been forced to suppress your voice. You're ignored. You're dismissed. You're not validated. You're not taken seriously. You're talked over. You're interrupted. Okay. Ask any woman about living in a world of fucking misogyny, how often she's talked over and interrupted and bulldozed and not listened to and completely dismissed by half of the human fucking population. So you get really clogged in that throat chakra, and that physically affects your body every time. You are energetically, emotionally affected. It affects your physical vessel. It's all oneness consciousness teachings, and vice versa, by the way. Vice versa. The same is true. Pumping you full of toxins and poisons muddles and affects you on not just the physical body, physical level, energetically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Do you understand? It goes both ways 100% of the time. Oneness, consciousness, teaching. This is oneness. We're not fractured off, fragmented off anymore. So to become whole beings of oneness consciousness, this is part of the teaching and understanding this. So if your throat chakra is completely blocked because of the way you're treated and you don't have the divine power, you're not healed from those traumas, you're not healed from that programming yet, you're going to have physical issues with your C-spine. Okay. And other examples, totally, diseases, which is a ripple effect in your entire physical body that slowly ripples out and creates a domino effect or a chain reaction of things going wrong in your physical body. So it's like, why are the hormones off? Why is the liver overacting and overworked? And why is it is a chain reaction 100% of the time. So to figure all of these pieces out isn't one visit from one practitioner that writes you a fucking prescription for some shit or says, you need surgery. Let's take this body part out. What the fuck? Okay, let's not. And let's not get to that point anyway. By the way, notice that it's really prevalent to just take a woman's uterus out. You ever notice how common that is? We just got to take that out. You know why? Because that's a fucking portal. So patriarchal system of oppression of women, complete misogyny, and keeping women oppressed and slaves and preventing them from knowing what they are, the creator incarnated herself, is to do things like that. Oh, just do a hysterectomy. Take out her body parts. Remove the physical portal to divinity herself. Again, part of the layers of brainwashing, enslavement, oppression, etc. Okay? So we don't want to get to that point. We want to heal what is really going on in there. And in order to do that, it's a multi-level process. So again, remember all the layers of brainwashing and enslavement? If we're dumbing people down through social media, they're completely insanely impatient, entitled, and narcissistic. They want what they want right fucking now. They have no patience, as the way of patience, and no work ethic anymore to do anything in a divine way. the way of responsibility, the way of patience, the way of surrender means flow. You're in synchronicity with the universe, your soul, your divine soul, you're synchronized with, it's integrating and you're flowing with her or him. These are enlightened definitions of these things. These aren't just words. Okay. If you don't have the patience to put yourself back together again, so to speak, then you never will. You just won't. You won't be able to. You're not capable of it. If you don't look in the mirror, in that sacred divine mirror of truth as the way of truth, and look at every dark, ugly aspect like, holy shit, I have the attention span of a fucking gnat. I've been dumbed down to not be able to listen or concentrate for more than a few seconds at a time. Yeah, it's all done on purpose to keep you stupid, because you'll never wake up if you are. And you're easily mind controlled and brainwashed if you are. And if you're uncomfortable and you're in pain and you're sick and you're suffering and you're in scarcity and you're overworked and you're overexhausted and da. Again, remember 1,000 fucking levels to keep you dumbed down and imprisoned and as a slave. When I say there's 1,000 levels to this, there's 1,000 levels to this. Okay. It's also why I always say it's warrior's work to wake up for real, not that pseudo spiritual psychopathy bullshit, fake spirituality that's filled with narcissists and psychopathy. Like, no, that's not real spirituality. Okay. It's just the old matrix. It's the patriarchal version of spirituality, which means it's just another level of imprisoning you and enslaving you and keeping you dumbed down and fucked up and distorted and in distortion and dysfunctional and unhealthy. That's all it is. New Earth healing and healthcare, you have to understand it is a multi-level process taking every aspect of you into consideration, analyzing it, assessing, reassessing. Where's your progress? Where are you healing? Where are you coming into balance, which is the way of equality? Where are you coming into balance? Where are you still out of balance, which then causes that chain reaction domino effect in your body, spiritually, mentally, emotionally as well, in both directions. You understand? All of that is taken into consideration. And then your treatment plan is put in place, and then you participate actively in that treatment plan. You become your own healer over time. Okay. So you learn what kind of, herbs, tinctures do I need to take on a daily basis? Do I need to take regularly? What should my food intake look like? For me, is it once a day, one raw living meal a day, organic, raw living food, one meal a day, and 2 raw juices a day? Like, just to give you an example, is that what works best for you? And for right now, that might work for you for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. And then, oh, my body wants something different now because it is so extraordinarily elevated. How much sun do you get in a day? Part of you healing is being in the light, which is a feminine energy. The sun is feminine. It's not fucking masculine. God damn it. Like, everything's been inverted. They took the goddess sun away and completely lied and made up sun god, by the way. That's inverted too. When I say everything is fucking inverted, everything is inverted. So to be out in the light that you are, in the physical aspect of being in the light, you may need a certain amount of sunlight every day. And that might be part of what you do. You're becoming your own healer over time when you're doing the things that your body needs. Also, you are learning by detoxing all the shit that keeps you dumbed down in a low level of consciousness. You're not just healing physically, you're healing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, addressing your traumas, your wounds. Energetically, you're alchemizing and transforming. You're going through a metamorphosis on every level humanly possible. That's what real healing is. It isn't going to a healer, having them put their hands on you one time and poof, everything's fucking healed. We have to get out of the immaturity and the irresponsibility and the fucking entitlement. And you have to become the way of honoring. There is an exchange for people to work with you. It's not, you should help for free. Bullshit. The fuck out of here. You don't even deserve to be healed if that's where you're coming from. You don't at all. You're too fucking entitled and low level. You're not even ready to be healed at all. You're not ready to heal yourself. You don't take any responsibility. You're fucking entitled. All these people that devote themselves to you in the way of selfless service, as the way of selfless service, and you think you just deserve to get it. What are you exchanging in return? The universe, the cosmos, is magic. That means always seeking to be in balance as the way of equality. What are you offering in order to receive? So, all of your resources, when you realize to fucking unplug from the old earth of sick care, fucking unplug from it. Your insurance is a fraud and it's a fucking scam. Where should all your resources be going? To healing you to a place with all these professionals and enlightened beings, helping you to get to a place where you are your own healer, where you eventually don't need them unless you need them again. And then you're going to need them less and less and less over time. If you are fully 100% in balance, being of oneness, you are whole, you are healed, then you already know, okay, I can listen to my body. Here are the tinctures I need to take. Here are the ones I don't need to take so much anymore. And you listen to your body tells you, you don't need that one today. You take less. Sometimes you take more of certain ones. You eat less food because you don't need it. You're in the sun. You're hydrating with a couple of raw juices a day. You're fasting on a regular basis. You're literally elevating. Look at how much less money you would be putting towards just food, for fuck's sake. Oh, that's going to tear that old system of sick care down. They can't poison you, make you sick anymore if you're not eating their fucking food. You're not dependent on it. Because the truth is you don't need it. But what do you need in every phase? And it's usually very front loaded, heavily front loaded, of course. Hello, common sense. And then the more you heal and elevate, you slowly wean off of needing so much support from others, where it's not, oh my God, it's just so elite to get massages on a regular basis. Of course, you're brainwashed to fucking believe that. Oh, you're so posh if you take care of your physical body. Do you understand that's another layer, another level of the fucking brainwashing? So that you don't take care of yourself and you look at it as a luxury. You should be getting massages and facial work on a regular basis. While you're healing, you might need it a lot. When you reach and cross certain thresholds of healing and unifying your body into wholeness, into oneness, what that really means, you will need that less, but you'll still benefit from it. And it isn't a fucking luxury. We're hard on our physical bodies sometimes. It is a necessity to care for our physical vessels. When you realize how sacred you are, every aspect of you is sacred, including your physical vessel, you tend to take care of it as such, something that the patriarchal world of inversion doesn't want you to fucking know. So it puts things out like only the elite, only the rich can afford this shit. Of course, that's how they make it, so that you don't do it. And not just so that you don't do it or can't do it, so that you fucking judge people who do. Oh, I don't want to be like them. Oh my God. Do you understand that's part of the brainwashing? That's part of the brainwashing. Well, somebody getting massages all the time. Yeah, you should be. Which is why they make it untouchable for most. Do you understand this? Part of the sacredness of your physical vessel is to take care of your physical vessel with what you consume, how you honor it, how you treat this body. That includes not objectifying, dehumanizing, making it nothing but a fucking sex object for pleasure and all that bullshit. This is sacred because your essence is sacred. You're an eternal being in this human form, and you're also human. You're both, and you are sacred, but you're not sacred if you don't live that way. You trash yourself, you're being trashed and treated, dehumanized, objectified on a regular basis, trapped in suffering. It's being done to you as well as you do it to yourself. Both are true because you're brainwashed enough to do it to yourself. That's the conditioning. Healing and healthcare will teach you what you need to be taught, to unplug from that, to shift out of it, to equalize, come in balance and equilibrium, divine level. Again, That is the way of responsibility. That is the way of connection to divinity. That is the way of harmlessness and gentleness and even compassion for yourself. That's the way of equality. That is the way of honoring of yourself as a sacred eternal being. That is the way of loyalty, to be loyal and devoted to your own elevation and healing. Your resources, your time, your energy should be put into yourself in these ways. That's a new earth, healing and healthcare. It shouldn't be taking pharmaceuticals, drugging yourself up because you're too weak and powerless to handle human fucking emotion. That's the old inverted earth. But you can't handle your own emotion and alchemize the energy that shows up. Painful emotions are painful. They can be. Constantly seeking for only the blissful ones. You're out of balance. You're unhealed. You're unconscious. You're very low level of consciousness when you're relying on antidepressants that do nothing but numb you out so that you can never evolve. That's not a judgment. It is the truth. Healing and healthcare is let's do the work to connect you to your divine power, heal your traumas, alchemize, transform, move through this metamorphosis spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And your time, your attention, your resources, that's where it needs to go to. Not in a sick care system meant to keep you dumbed down, stupid, sick, unhealed, fractured, fragmented off so that you can never experience what wholeness is. Where do you put your resources? But I can't afford. Stop paying for all the fucking shit, processed, disgusting, toxic, poisonous food that you pay for. You don't need to eat very much. As long as you're consuming the nutrients that you need at this stage of the game in your healing. What is that? Do you even know? Probably not. Never a judgment. I'm saying the truth here because that's how they trap you. That's the point. Go to any primary care physician, especially in the goddamn United States, and what are they going to tell you about your diet? Oh, clean up your diet, get your protein. Ugh. They don't know fuck all. They move through a system of indoctrination masked as education. So even the well-intended don't know fuck all about fuck all. And it isn't their fault. It is your fault when you stay in that system and don't wake up for real. The way of responsibility. So elevating out of that is we have actual medicine, not what medicine has been masked, rebranded, and turned into, which is all fake sick care bullshit. Real medicine is what does your body need? Connect in this with this electromagnetic field. What's going on in your energetic fields? What's going on in your physical body? How do we balance? How do we detoxify? And that, again, might be a combination of body work, hands-on, from professionals who know how to infuse the ways of oneness, energetic frequencies, guide you through healing your traumas that are keeping your body in stuck patterns. Going to that chiropractor who works at this level, that myofascial release expert who works at this level and knows this stuff, right? Practitioners that work together in wholeness, in oneness. This is what oneness is. That's the future of healing and healthcare. That's new earth healing and healthcare. Getting everything that you need and understanding that you have to become in the process, right? This requires patience. This requires your active integration and participation as the way of responsibility and integrity and loyalty, the way of loyalty and every way of oneness. The only way to become the way of harmony, the 20th way of oneness, harmonize your entire system, your entire essence, your soul, is to actively participate, put your willingness, your devotion, the way of loyalty, your funds, your resources, meaning your energy, your time, your attention, your focus into this. And finally, as the way of selfless service, making your health and raising your level of consciousness and unplugging from that old system your number one priority. That should be your number one priority. Because if that's where you put your time, your attention, your focus, your funds, your resources, your energy, your everything, everyone else in your life, and who have yet to even come into your life, everyone on the planet, nature, animals, beings, everyone benefits from that. Everyone benefits from that. That is now the chain reaction from oneness. Ooh, we're flipping that inverted world, creating the new earth, where our domino effect of our energies, our essence, our beingness, our lives, who we are as humans, ripples out. That domino effect, that chain reaction ripples out and creates a new earth from enlightened frequencies of oneness now. Do you understand? When you are inverted, coming from patriarchy, upside down and ass backwards, sick, suffering, in scarcity, unhealed, your physical body is shit. When you come from there, what ripples out, the domino effect, the chain reaction of you from you, creates nothing but that sick imprisonment world of enslavement and oppression. You're creating that world for them. Do you understand? That's what you've been brainwashed to do. And you don't have enough education to know how to change it, which is why you so desperately seek out, how do I manifest, manifest, manifest? Again, old earth, that's all old earth. New earth healing is an earth of oneness consciousness. That means education. It means becoming, moving through the metamorphosis of becoming oneness consciousness herself. You have to become. You need to detoxify mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That means detoxing from the pseudo-spiritual horse shit that you've also been brainwashed and conditioned with. All of it is a detoxifying process. That's metamorphosis. And it is also an elevation and a movement of true evolution on every level. That takes your focus, your energy, the way of loyalty. That takes becoming the way of humility. That means educating yourself, pouring your resources into that, and doing whatever it takes to be able to focus. Withdraw your resources from other places and pour it into that, which means pouring into yourself. You understand? That is pouring your resources into yourself to become a being of oneness, whole, healed, elevated, highly conscious, divinely powerful. That's what New Earth healing and healthcare is. And if you don't understand what it is, unfortunately, when you're desperate, and it's never a judgment, we've all been there. When you're desperate, you start pouring your resources into fragmented off, fractured off pieces and people and things that you pray to God will help you. And there's no blame there. Of course, that's what we're trying to do. But if you funnel your energy, your focus, your resources into extremely elevated humans that are here to teach you all aspects of this stuff, not just one little piece. No more fragmented off. We work together in oneness. Okay. Energy practitioners, healers, physical practitioners, naturopaths, physicians, chiropractors, doctors, massage therapists, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All kinds, all types work together in one location, guiding you through fasting, guiding you through all the aspects of these things together as a team, because you're sacred. Do you understand? You are divinely sacred, and you should be treated as such. And the people who treat you are divinely sacred, and they should be treated as such. There is an exchange there, because that's what oneness is. There's an exchange there. So you need to elevate to seeing that, putting your resources towards that, your energy, your focus, your attention towards all of that, the people that can help you for real, so that you can help yourself. And again, over time, you need less and less support from these beautiful, amazing, sacred teachers and healers and practitioners. You need less and less of them. And then how do you simply fast forward, completely healed and whole, high level of consciousness? Great. You can keep going up in consciousness on your own timeline, in your own time frame, so to speak. You can keep nurturing your vessel, your physical body, your soul, your emotional body, your mental body. You can keep nurturing that in the ways that are best for you. What is it that you as an individual need? How many times in a year Do you need to see a practitioner for fascia work or massage or detoxifying? I'm feeling like this isn't working. Something's off right now. Go back to your practitioners, and you might need to see a little bit more frequently for a period of time. We need to readjust. Oh, you're elevating so high. Of course, this one doesn't work anymore because you're elevating so high. Your body doesn't want that anymore. And it's tuning in and tapping in for yourself as your own healer. But then also, you always have access to these beautiful, amazing practitioners in every way to help guide you if you need a little more help and assistance at some point. That's oneness. If you move through a tragedy, unfortunately, we all do, trauma happens. It doesn't cease to exist because it's a new earth. And I always go to this example, just losing a loved one, for crying out loud. Losing your soul companion dog, losing your spouse, a child, a parent, a loved one, dear friend that is your family, saying goodbye on that level. Oh my gosh, is that painful? And that grief process. When you learn everything you need to learn from New Earth healing and healthcare, that includes education. You can move through that on your own 100% independently. You're divinely powerful enough to do that. You also simply might want extra help. You might really not quote unquote need, you might benefit from extra help. And that's like, hey, to your practitioners, to your teachers, to your healer, whatever, I need a little extra. This trauma happened, and I would love to be in that group, that healing group. I want to rejoin the healing group because I just need extra support right now. Anything and everything like that is available to you when you work through a system that is a New Earth system of healing and healthcare. It's a system of oneness. Oneness. That's what oneness is. Okay. So hopefully you have a little bit of a better understanding. And hopefully, because you have a better understanding, my encouragement to you is unplug and pull any resources you're putting towards things that is not what I just described and explained. Pull them. Because if they're not, if you're using your time, your energy, your resources into something that's really helping you right now, keep doing that. Absolutely. I want you to get what you need for you right now. Right? But if there is anything else, unplug, pull your resource, save your resources so that you can invest your time, your energy, your finances, your whatever, funnel that into who and what is going to help you in a very holistic, whole, WHOLE, holistic way. That means from oneness. Okay. This is oneness healing. And look, people are doing unity healing right now. They're trying to create these things out there all over the place. I see things popping up all over. So we're getting there. There are people putting stuff in place where you have access to more than just some primary care physician of Western medicine crap. People are doing unity healing. It isn't oneness. It is not the same thing. It takes steps to get to a place of oneness. It isn't oneness because you say it is. That's the other thing. We lack education. So if there's not education involved in it, guess what? It sure as hell isn't oneness. I'll tell you that right now. It isn't. It can't be. You need to be educated along the way. Okay? You need to be educated along the way. True education, not just things done to you and for you. You're not educated in what's going on in your body and how it works. That's not oneness. That's fragmented off, fractured off pieces of. And there are people that are trying to pull together resources and offerings and practitioners and different things where they're elevating to like unity healing. Unity is not oneness. Never a damn judgment. It isn't a put down. It is magnificent that that's happening. It means we're evolving. It's a beautiful thing, but it isn't oneness, and you need to know the difference. The educational piece is priceless. You need the education so you can become the master of your own self. That's the point. Not dependent upon others, although we tend to be dependent in a lot of ways at first. It's because of how unhealed and poisoned you are, and the toxins and all the things. It should always be oneness healing, should always be moving you towards becoming your own expert your own practitioner, your own healer, listening to your soul's guidance, okay? Understanding what's going on in your body. It doesn't mean you never need help with it. There are other people who are like, for example, how are you going to work on your own fascia and completely adjust your own spine? Not that there aren't certain techniques you can't do. You can. Self techniques, you can do them. But how are you going to reach certain areas of your back where it's just easier and more nurturing, by the way, to have that professional who can infuse ways of oneness and energetic frequencies into your fascia, prepare your fascia in a very loving way, and then work on your fascia. And you can lay face down, all relaxed, as the way of presence, which is partially the receiver of things. And you can receive what somebody's there to offer you. You're sacred, for crying out loud. You deserve that. You deserve it when you put the work in to elevating and healing yourself. That's part of selfless service and the way of presence is to just receive. That's not the same thing as I deserve it because I'm an entitled narcissistic fuck. Not the same thing. Feel the energy. Okay? Understanding the discernment is only comes when you raise your level of consciousness. And that doesn't mean you're fucking spiritual. It doesn't mean you're high level conscious because you're spiritual. You've heard me say it 1,000 times, say a million more. That's why education, that piece of this is priceless. That needs to come with it or it isn't fucking oneness. So it's impossible to be oneness if you're still fragmented off and fractured off. You go to a beautiful facility and you can get 3 different things or 4 different things in one facility. That's awesome. But are you getting educated? Are you doing trauma work along with the acupuncture that you might need? And you might need acupuncture, a good 3 months, right? And then that acupuncture, but also a very gentle massage. Maybe your body needs to learn how to accept sacred touch. And that gentle massage that's a part of your protocol, your plan, healing plan for you is the oneness healing plan is you just need a gentle massage. And maybe it's only a 30-minute. And we want you to do that once every other week for a while so that your body starts to accept what sacred touch is, because your body does this when somebody goes to touch you because you've been abused, traumatized, physically, maybe sexually abused. Like all those things are part of this. So your body won't even let itself heal from somebody who can really give you beautiful massage and like adjustments or acupuncture. Your body will reject it. This is part of the educational piece. No more fractured off. You don't know what the fuck's going on. And then it's just, well, this isn't working because you're not seeing a fast enough result. You learn along the way, well, why would your physical body reject a beautiful, wonderful massage treatment and acupuncture and chiropractor adjustment? Sometimes your body rejects all of that. It won't let yourself receive because your consciousness of your fascia, your muscles are not activating in the way of presence. So it doesn't receive. It's not the way of surrender. So it doesn't flow with what's happening. Why? It's in protective mode. Do you understand? Protective mode means I'm going to reject what this massage therapist or fascia therapist just did to me, or what the chiropractor just did, or that acupuncture. Fuck that. I'm going right back to my old patterns. This isn't safety. Let that sink in. Sometimes it has nothing to do with the practitioner, but it also is. We have tremendous amount of practitioners in the world, healers, quote unquote, shamans. Of course, they're mostly fucking men who are taking advantage of and raping women and touching women in sexual ways when they're doing hands-on healing and sound healing therapies. And they start touching women. Of course, it's mostly men doing this to women. And they make it sexual, or they start touching inappropriate. That's sexual assault, people. And this is part of what's happening in the pseudo-spiritual, pseudo-healing bullshit. It's still patriarchy masked as healing. Unfortunately, we need to see it for what it is, be able to identify, recognize that. And also, we need to heal the trauma from that, because that's part of patriarchy, putting that in place in order for you to never fucking heal and only get more traumatized along the way. To understand that's all part of what the inverted world of patriarchy is. Unfortunately, it is horrible. It's sadistic and it's evil, but we can't heal that and not be a part of that if you're not willing to gain the educational piece along the way. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with this. This is why Masters of Self University is a metaphysical university, why our physical retreats, why our in-person stuff isn't even here as I record this in August of 2025. We don't have that part yet. That is done for a reason as the way of wisdom, because you need to be willing to start doing your healing, your trauma work, connecting to your divinity, and all the things that we offer at MSU so that you are connected fully to your power. And then we add all the physical healing stuff, the hands-on stuff. Because if you don't come to us for that, we don't even offer it right now yet. We will. That's all part of the expansion of MSU. But again, I did this in this sequential order for a reason, because I actually function from oneness consciousness. I want you connected to your power, realizing you can start a massive transformational process and metamorphosis of healing yourself all on your own, even without these other pieces yet. Because you can't start an organization like this and have 15 million pieces put in place all at once. It's not possible to do all that. I mean, unless I was a multi-billionaire. I'm not. Not yet. Not yet. So I couldn't just offer all of that at once. The other thing is, I want you to have this part. It is the most crucial, vital part. Because if you go to other people when you're connected to your own power, you're like, this isn't right. Oh my gosh, he's a shaman. He's a healer. He's a spiritual teacher. He's a whatever. He is so off. He started to touch me. I now have the power to tell him to get his fucking hands off me right now. Stand up and walk the fuck out. I want you to be connected to your soul's divine power. You need the education. That is the foundational part. Not that that's the only thing we offer. We offer a lot of things at one time. But again, the hands-on healing retreat part, in-person classes part where you learn these advanced techniques in person. We're not quite there yet as I record this. We will be. But I want you to understand that is for a reason. It is intentional, because I come from the way of integrity. I want you to see how powerful you are, so that if you do go out into the world with other people and they put their hands on you, you have the power to stand up for yourself and put an end to it if it's not what you want, or it's inappropriate at any level, or it starts to go down that path and they're grooming you. Because unfortunately, that's all over the place. And I'm sorry that it is. It's disgusting and unfortunate. But to help protect yourself from that is get the education, start there, shift energetically, vibrationally, as a resonance, as the way of wisdom. You need to do that work simultaneously, but in this case, first, I'm laying that foundation for everyone who comes through MSU first, and then we build on that and add to it. Okay? So all these things will be offered through MSU in the future, including the retreats and all the hands-on treatment and all of that stuff. But it's important to have the education as to why it's done in a certain way, and not just impatiently, desperately seek ground. Become the universal ways of oneness. Get your education while you're healing. And then if you still need to seek out other people and practitioners from other places all over, of course, that's going to be the case for a little while. That's fine. But at least you'll be connected to your power, where if something feels off, you will listen to your soul guiding you, not your programming, not your wounding, not your shadow self, not your ego. You know not your wounded inner child telling you. You know the difference, and you follow your soul's guidance, even if your mind doesn't understand why. That's true empowerment. That's New Earth healing and healthcare. And we're getting there. We're getting there. Hopefully, you'll be a part of that. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.